Obviously, you were the #1 draft pick in 1996. But I want to take it back, ask you about your draft party. We got some photos to show you at that draft party. I heard it was very legendary. So here's some shots of your draft party. Star-studded affair. You had people like primetime Deion Sanders, all sorts of celebrities that pulled up that night. Coolio, Jim Hill, the staple of Los Angeles sports scene. Never aged.
Staple.
Still look the same.
Still look the same.
Yeah, still look the same.
Has not aged. Jim Hill.
Listen, I didn't spoke my piece.
Jim.
You know, somebody needs to have
we here, Jim.
Hey, I brought it up. I told somebody to have an honest with Jim. I get it. It's time to listen.
Yeah.
I get it, bro.
So I've been knowing Jim.
I get it.
I've been knowing Jim since high school.
Yeah.
He covered me in high school, believe it or not.
Like, I get it.
Yeah, real one.
I'm sort of on the Kenya Mark tip when it come to that.
I get it, Jim.
But you gotta just, you know, it's Jim though.
I dig it, but
yeah, I was with
you on regular, bro.
I was
So
with him last.
We cool with Marv Albert, we ain't cool with Jim?
We rock with Jim here. We rock with the helmet cut. We rock with the helmet unit.
You know, I call spade a spade, bro.
The original Steve Harvey.
Jim, do what suits for you.
Oh, he is.
The original Steve Harvey.
But you're right though.
Listen,
yeah, somebody got to really pull him aside.
Like Jim, like.
Yeah.
So let's shift it back
like
to your.
Jim Brown do the NFL shit. Like, bruh, like it ain't that dark no more. Like it can't be. Like you pushing, you 70. There's no way it's that dark.
Jim.
I'm talking about him, Jim Brown, the dude doing the NFL, all of them. It ain't that dark. Like it ain't that dark no more, bro. Like it's physically. I'm not buying it.
We shout out to Jim Hill, but let's go back to your draft party.
Jim,
what do you remember?
Here, Jim, we here.
What do you remember about your legendary draft party?
We had to say, me and him,
you gotta go here with that motherfucker.
Y'all crazy, man.
Blum, blum, blum.
I know he going through shit.
But yeah,
the party?
Yeah.
Man, it was
Where was it at first and foremost?
It was House of Blues on Sunset.
Ooh, the good old days. Okay.
Yeah, the good old days. It was House of Blues on Sunset. Man, it was crazy. It was crazy. We was putting it together. We had started putting it together like, man, I feel like in February. Like we started putting it together. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew I was going to go one. 1,000%. Wasn't nobody better than me, man. No, it ain't even close.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? People done had better NFL careers than me based on the situation.
Right.
But as far as college go, it wasn't even close. You know what I'm saying? That's just the only reason why people have better NFL careers is because they had quarterbacks. You know, I played 11 seasons. I had 17 different quarterbacks in 11 seasons. You know?
Right. You know I'm with him.
So
absolutely.
You know how it go.
Right.
And so the party was like we started putting this shit together. And at this time, you know, like Death Row was like popping with everybody, and Pac and Suge and everybody, and Hammer was with them now, and obviously Snoop, and Coolio was coming off a Grammy. I feel like it was like Paradise was his Grammy or whatever in that movie. He had just the Grammys was like a month before maybe or something like that. And so we was like, well, who we gonna book? What we gonna get? All this sort of stuff. So we wind up just picking LA folk, right? And saying this is what we gonna do. What we gonna have it? We're gonna have it at the House of Blues. Standing room only. I mean, it was so many. It was every fucking body. If you was somebody in the industry and you wasn't there, then you wasn't nobody. Especially if you was black. You know what I'm saying? And it was like females just everywhere. Shit was crazy. That's all I can say. It was crazy. So then I'm downstairs. I don't know what I was just mingling with everybody. So I didn't even invite Deion. I didn't even know Deion at all.
Probably didn't need one.
No, I didn't.
As he showed, he didn't need no
No,
invitation.
I didn't need him. So they come and tap me. Say, man, Deion, Prime Deion wanted to holler at you. I'm like, Deion who? Like, Deion Sanders, man. You know, prime time. I said, where he at? I thought he was on the phone or something. He was like, no, he in the foundation room. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I mingle a little bit more. They come back, get me. I go upstairs. This Negro in the foundation room, he got all burgundy or maroon or whatever it was. He got more jewels on than my man. He just draped, right? So I walk in, I'm like, oh shit, Deion. You know, I'm like tripping because I'm like, I didn't invite him. And I know my assistants and nobody else invited him because we didn't know him. And then he just wanted to come and be a part of the celebration. So remember, it was baseball season too. So he done flew. I don't know if he was the Yankees or maybe Atlanta somewhere. But he flew in, and it just popped up. I'm like, damn, I'm like, okay, I'm him there, okay. So Prime, so I just sit up, talk to him, chop it up with him, and he just wanted to give me some words of advice in the league and watch out for the pitfalls. He just wanted to be a big brother, and we formed a relationship basically from that point on. Much respect. We done played against each other, just the whole deal. And then, the performances was great. Typical Death Row. They show up late. They supposed to be on time. But,
Suge was there, I imagine?
Yeah, Suge was there. Pac was there. Yeah, all them dudes was there. All of them was there.
It was like 50 deep.
Man, you know what? Hell no, I got a picture of it in my phone. And they came and it was just everybody there. But then outside, if you know LA and you know Sunset and La Cienega, so go east of La Cienega to basically Crescent Heights. They Fairfax. They blocked that whole street off. Sunset was blocked because there was another 2,000 people on the outside estimated trying to get into the party. It was crazy though. It was some wild. And so after the party, in Keyshawn fashion, I get the hotel across the street, so I done got the whole flow. This cracking though, the whole flow is at the top. You can just boom, boom, rule. So it's going down like a real concert. I'm on the absolute. I remember it like it was yesterday. I done drank a whole bottle. I had a midterm the next day. I go and take the midterm the next day at USC. See, that's what we do as Trojans. We gon'
Really?
You know what I'm saying? So I went the next day, even though I got no sleep, took my midterm and everything, and had fun. Until it was time for minicamp. After I got off the chitlins, I wasn't worth shit in the minicamp though. I wasn't no good. It was a chitlin circuit for me for a few days.
That's understandable. You
No,
got to turn up and celebrate. You only get that experience one time.
But it was a real experience though. We had fun.
So we also talk about you being a Super Bowl champion with the Bucks back in the day. As we have the arena decorated, Thunder celebrating, winning the first title in their franchise history. They had their parade today. You can see a lot of those dudes could not handle their liquor too well. But how did you celebrate winning the Super Bowl?
So after the Super Bowl, I had a party at the W Hotel in San Diego, and then after the party, I helicoptered from San Diego to LA, and I actually missed the post celebration. I went to the ticker tape, but everybody flew in, and everybody was waiting at the stadium. Whatever, it was 60,000 people at the stadium, but I stayed back because I went on Jay Leno the next day, and then I flew back to Tampa. But I celebrated, man, probably for a whole week. Just get it in.
As you should.
For the whole week though. But the party at the W was crazy too.
That's when the W was cracking.
Yeah, it was San Diego W. It was bananas, and the alcohol was flowing, and you was just being grown. You had just won the Super Bowl. I had no voice. All my partners and everybody came up to go to the Super Bowl from LA. Cause I had to get like 100 and something tickets. I was getting tickets from everybody, man. Practice squad dudes, I was paying them on the plane, flying in, because it was like a whole thing. Everybody was hustling the ticket game. And I'm like, man, I got cash. Because what I did when we went to Philadelphia is I figured we was going to beat Philly the second time around. So I got a shitload of money, cash. And I knew that if I'm on the plane, I'm a street dude, so I kind of know I'm going to get there before somebody else get to them.
Yeah.
So I got the money right there. And I'm talking to, let me get your 4 tickets now. Because you physically had tickets in your hand opposed to like now everything is on apps and all that.
For sure.
So I got the money and I'm paying dudes on the plane as we flying. I'm just giving it to them. Like, make sure I get your tickets, make sure. So I had to collect, like I said, 100 and some tickets. I had to make sure my family was good, but also I had to make sure all the homies was good and just people that went on the journey with me. It was a fun journey though. You can't, that's 2 things that people can't ever take away from you, that degree from USC and that Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Knowing you was a prodigy, #1 pick, fulfilling that prophecy of being a Super Bowl champion. How important was it for you to win that championship?
Man, it was so important, you know, because as I played in sports in college and in high school, I won at every single level. And I didn't want to be a professional and be a part of a team and not just a role player, but be a part of a team and not win a championship. You know, I didn't want people to be like, oh, he played, well, he was doing good. Man, he never won a Super Bowl. I didn't want that. You know what I'm saying? Once I won the Super Bowl, I felt like I'm good now. You know, and I did it, I think it was it was my 6th or 7th season. So at that point, I had already started thinking about shutting it down anyway. I got what I came for. I got the bag, you know, twice. Well, actually 3 times, but the second time, the first time was the big bag, but then the second time was the bigger bag. And then the third time was whatever. You know, at that point, when I got to the third time, it was time to close the doors anyway.
So can't nobody say Keyshawn Johnson didn't come and be all that we thought he would be.
You know, some people can say that.
How?
They could, because that's the way the world works.
But they're probably broke.
But I really don't give a fuck
You
what
was
they
a
say.
#1 pick.
But I don't care about that. No, I'm saying I don't care about what people say. I could care less about it, but I know how people in the world of sports, how they treat us when they think something different. That's how, but I don't care.
Expectation is expectation, right?
Yeah, but I
There is
fulfilled all my
disappointment.
expectations.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Yeah, for
that's
me,
what I'm
I'm
getting at.
good.
It's like there is no disappointment with when you look at your shit, you looking back and you say, man, I touched ground.
You know what's so funny though? It's crazy. You even brought this up. So I was working out today. Working out on a treadie. I usually talk to my partner, who you know, we usually, because he's in another state, and so he gets up a little early. I go at 7, and he gets in the gym probably around 8 o'clock. So, and we on the treadmill. We on the tread because I do about 2 hours of the treadie right now, you know, and we on that motherfucker walking and talking. And he don't understand why I don't push my narrative like everybody else. I said, man, I don't need to do that. You know, he's like, man, but you need to. You need to let these motherfuckers know. I said, no, I'm good. I'm satisfied. But like you said, though, #1 pick, Super Bowl champion, got the bag, was the highest paid at the position at the time. I mean, I get it. I just never, you know. My whole goal though, was to graduate from college. I didn't leave as a junior, even though I thought about it. I took a chance. I came back. I was the #1 overall pick. But my whole goal was to be able to help my family. That's all I cared about, was getting the money to help my family. I didn't care about nothing else. The Super Bowl was just it was like icing on the cake for me. The real shit was getting the money. Get my mom out the little 700 square foot apartment, you know what I'm saying, with 6 kids stacked up on top of each other, fighting for space. That was my goal. So once I accomplished that, the rest of it was like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point I was like, chill. Talk about all that.
So we got some breaking news out of the NFL today we want to talk to you about. So Aaron Rodgers said in an interview on the Pat McAfee show today that he's pretty sure this upcoming season with the Steelers will be his final year in the NFL. So first I want to ask you, do you really believe this will be Aaron Rodgers' final year? And if it is, what has he meant to the NFL during his time in the league?
Well, it's 2 things with the final year, right? I believe if he go to AFC Championship game, they're going to bring him back. They're going to have to bring him back. It just don't make sense. That means he really knocked off a lot of that rust over the last couple of years. But anything short of AFC Championship game is probably going to be his final year. You know, just making the playoffs ain't good enough. They make the playoffs with me and you playing quarterback. Right now. They'll make the quarterback. That's what Mike Tomlin every year, he winning record. So the whole thing is to go get Aaron Rodgers to push you over the top. But if he doesn't do that, why would you bring him back? And then in terms of what he's meant to the league, I mean, he could have gone down as the greatest quarterback. And I understand Tom Brady got 7 and 10 and all that rings and played in 10 of them. But had Aaron Rodgers got like 3, 4, that conversation would be, oh man, Aaron Rodgers is really the greatest quarterback because of his arm talent, right? He got such amazing arm talent that even though he only won 1, the dude's arm talent was ridiculous at the time. Now all of a sudden he's like a shell of himself to a degree.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how people view him. I mean, he obviously first ballot Hall of Famer. He's gonna walk in whenever he's eligible to do that. But there's gonna be people that's like, you know, because he got some weird, like a weird shit at times. He be acting like a weirdo. So
Darkness retreats and all types
yeah,
of
he just he be on some weird shit. He be on some weird shit, and so they gonna treat him a certain way.
You think he still got something left in the tank?
I
You think
do.
He got one more run
no,
left
I
in
do,
him?
man. And everybody who plays sports can tell you, surroundings, situations, and circumstances could help you. When you're in the wrong situation, in the wrong surroundings, it could mess you up. See, they allowed him in New York to dictate his own avenue. They're not doing that in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin ain't gonna let him walk in there and change the culture of what that locker room is. Last 2 years, he essentially built the Jets. He hired the offensive coordinator. He fired the offensive coordinator. He threw the receiver under the bus and ran him over twice. You see what I'm saying? He was just acting weird the last 3-4 years of his career. Why, I don't know. But if he could just listen to Mike Tomlin now, he might have opportunity. They just might have an opportunity because they're going to have a hell of a defense.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're going to run the football. As long as he don't dink and dunk and screw it up, they should be okay.
All right, well, let's shift over to the basketball side. So your co-host on Speak, Paul Pierce.